Welcome, everyone. It is May 11th, and this is the reward working group meeting, rewards. And today I scrambled the agenda a little bit. I thought that would be fair, and also starting us up with where we left off last time. So let's start with the walkthrough of the reward system animation, the script and storyboard. As a laser, yeah, cool, you are here. And just before we get into that, if you can you begin? Sorry.
Thank you, Chris. Well, I'll try to be quick because I think there's a lot of things in the agenda.
No,
So,
cool. I just want to check. Like I said, is there more items for the agenda? Does anyone else have anything,
okay.
substantial that takes requires more than 10 minutes? Then let's put it on the agenda and let's try to remember to preserve time for that. Otherwise, I have a feeling that we don't have any real substantial issues this time actually. So I think you have some time. Cool. So no other big issues. So then I'll pass it to you as a laser, and please go ahead and take us through the storyboard.
Thank you. I'm going to share screen. Okay, so we made the storyboard and the script for the next upcoming reward system quantifier tutorial video. Want to read this so you can take an idea of what this video is about. Okay, so reward system by TEC. Sunset, we want to show a calendar or something like that, and there is a narrator. It is in the black letters, so you can see it. So the narrator says, "Today is a special day. Today the praise quantification process begins. It happens every 2 weeks." Next, we see a bunch of robots squib a line named Praise, which is moving forward. Each one has a note in their hand, and they wait happily for their turn to reach to the end, where there is a little house that with neon letters says Quantify. They don't mind standing in line, they are chatting with each other. This quantification process will last 5 days, during which the quantifiers will work hard to carry out this process in the best way. We have a robot one, like is the protagonist. So the robot one is next in line. He looks nervously at one of the notes in his hand. He reads number 75 over his hand and notices that electronic timbre now says the number he has. He advances, smiling, and enters the little house. Do you know what the job is of a quantifier is? So next we go to a house of Quantify. In the Quantify house, there are several robots working on computers. The interior is very nice. It's decorated in a very harmonious way, and it looks like a quite nice workplace. Robot 1 walks to the only empty desk, where Quantifier 1 is waiting for him, waving at him. So now we're going to explain a little more how the reward system quantifiers work. So here's one of the many reward system quantifiers. Quantifier 1 continues waving Robot 1. Walks over, hands him the note, smiles, and walks out. Quantifier 1 fits the note into a machine next to it, similar to the CPU, and he immediately gets to work on the computer. He plays a vital role in the community. Basically, his function is he's watching a document with many praises to be quantified. So manually quantifying the praises generated by the community, and right now you must be asking yourself, how does he do it? Quantifier 1 starts working on the computer. His head loses a bit of opacity and reveals some nuts turning inside. So these are quantifier memories in his living room. Quantifiers in his living room reading an article in his laptop. Well, to be a great quantifier, that's his no in his beginning, he read the rules of praise and quantification in order to understand in a deep what praise is and evaluate how valuable it is. Quantifier 1 is a video call in Discord with another group of robots. He attends some video conferences where he was prepared and informed to be a good quantifier. Now the quantifier 1 is working on the computer, and the narrator says, now for 3 days in a row, he has to evaluate the praises that were assigned to him. How, how will he do this? So to a summary of this, these are the steps and rules that is in the post of the forum. So I'm going to about how to use the dashboard. Okay, and next, quantifier 1 is sitting in the front of the computer. 3 days can imply it will be pages of a calendar. And the last narrator dialogue says on the fourth day he has a very important video conferences. It is the final quant review call where they will talk about the work they have been doing the previous days. A final review is performed and will be uploaded to the reward board. Next, quantifier 1 is in video call in Discord. He says goodbye to the other robots in the video call and turns off his computer. And next, his alarm clock's ring at 7 in the morning. He wakes up and sees on his calendar that is the fifth day, and he gets excited. He does his morning routine, robot stuff, oil, tying a knot, polish himself, and that stuff. And at last, in the quantifier house, quantifier 1 turns on the computer and enters the reward board. He sees that the document was approved and get excited. Immediately, we see how the box in which he put the praise begins to turn and slide. The nut praises begin to be processed and in the end become batteries of different sizes, some bigger than others. Finally, these batteries are taken to a tape where they are put in with all the batteries of other quantifiers. At the end of the tape, one by one are selected and inserted into a long rectangular box standing vertically. It has a green bar in the middle. For each battery that is inserted, this bar goes up and are presented according to the size of the battery. They are attached to a giant robot head, waiting to be powered with the power of many batteries together. This robot head is representing the whole community being growing by the praises. Okay, that's the script. And for a better idea, there is a storyboard, and this helps you to understand better what we want to say in the script. I'm going to tell you fast. So this is the robot city, the day one, the robot walking to the neon praise word that says in the script. A bunch of robots in a line in the quantify house. We see they happily here talking to each other with his paper in his hands. Next, we have the robot one that is the next robot to selected to quantify, and he looks at his number that he's the one that the next to quantify, and then he enters to the quantify house where there is a lot more of quantifier robots. And then here's the quantifier one that is the one that who is going to present the rules and all that stuff he needs to know. He entered his paper to this machine, and then he will look like in the computer the price dashboard, and then is there over the computer with some nuts in his head. Here is the part where he starts to read the rules about the quantifier onboarding that is in the forum. So we're going to tell this in voiceover too. And here's the Discord call of the reward system working group. Here's Mitch with his mustache. And then we get back to the quantifier house and start talking about the how to use the dashboard. I see there's a little changes in the dashboard, but there's no big deal. This here's more of the dashboard, and then the day 3, more Roberts in the Discord call, and then the alarm club about the day 5. He pours oil, adjusts net, polishes, and he comes back to the quantifier house. And he sees that all good in the prices that all got approved. So the machine starts to turn light, and we can see that the braces become batteries of different sizes because all the braces have different numbers of percentages, and all the batteries fall on in a box that gives power to a giant robot which represent the entire TEC community. That was tired, and that's it. So, if you want to give your feedback, feel free to do it. Thank you. This was all made by Alan TV, John Jonas, Chewy, and me. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Awesome.
Super cute.
Yeah, that is really cool to see all this square stuff that we're doing being turned into something alive.
It's so cute.
So how similar would the final style of the animation be to the storyboard?
Well, this is just like an example, but we want to some original art, doing robots, well designing, also the backgrounds, and all the stuff before animated. So, well, we will show you how we do it. The next step is to do the animatic. It's like the storyboard, but with time and music and audio.
The only thing I was thinking about was that at the end, were there any like factual? What was it factually correct? How the end part is? Maybe it was. So the robot finishes. Its individual quantification goes back to the quantifier house. There was a meeting that would represent the post quant session, or did I understand that correctly?
Yes, there's another like scene with a Discord call with the robots before that.
And after that, the robot gets the message like everything is okay, like the whole quantification is okay, and then it gets processed, and the batteries and the robot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's two things like kind of on the same point. I left comments actually in the script. And so it's like the flow is actually more that all of the praise gets put into like one bucket and then it's distributed randomly to the quantifiers that are drafted randomly, right? So it's not like there's like all the quantifiers are going at once, rather than like we're picking a group of them to like come and do this like this work. And it's not so much like the praise is being like hand delivered to each quantifier. It's more like they're getting assigned like a set of stuff to do.
That's a really good comment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead,
sorry.
Christopher.
No.
And the second point is rather that like then instead of all like the output is that like we end up rewarding each individual contributor for the value that they've made. You know, it's the reward system, so it's like we're valuing the individual contributors rather than like rewarding the TEC as a whole, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So instead of one robot, we're really like we're powering up a bunch of little robots that are like maybe, you know, working towards the same goal.
Nice. Good. I like it. Thank you, Mitch.
And the thing that I was thinking about was the fact that the quantifiers do their work asynchronously. Maybe it's worth pointing to. And I'm not sure if I remember correctly. Did the quantifier robots do the work together in this in the quantifier house, or did they go home and do the work there?
Well, there's a quantifier house to help to understand the rules and that stuff, but the idea is that the robot's in his house
Okay.
about days.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I also, I mean, I really like it. I feel that there were like some notes that we previously fixed, and I feel that they solved some of the narrative and visual challenges that we had. My only feedback regarding the script would be, and I agree with Mitch on this. I feel that the ending maybe should be a little bit more like ambiguous at the same time, because I feel that I mean once I see the battery, it's like, oh, okay, so this is the thing that like powers everything, and I feel that like the ending by like doing this like one big robot, I feel that it's like very specific. Like I would really like if it was like open for like imagination, right? Because people see different forms of value in the TEC. So I would just leave it at the battery, or maybe if we could find like a more visual way rather than like explained through the voiceover, if there could be like a more visual way in which like there is this like understanding of how the batteries get distributed by many people, as Mitch was saying that form this entity called the TEC. But yeah, like I really love it. I'm very happy and motivated with how close this script and storyboard is to really work a really good working version. So yeah, those are my two sets in the matter. I'll pass it back to you, Christopher.
I have a comment too about slide 7, where they go to the video call with other robots. It would be cool if there was some visuals of graphics and they look all surprised, because it's the moment of like, whoa, we're seeing everything that's happening in the community through these graphs. It's like the work that each one was doing individually is kind of displayed collectively. And it shows a little bit the purpose of the call, you know?
Little like hearts and rockets, like emojis maybe. I don't know, but yeah, something coming out that shows that they are happy. That's a really good idea, Livy.
Okay. Thank you again, Acid Laser, for that. It was really fun watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Do we have any final comments, or should we? Otherwise, we'll move on with the agenda. Okay, then. Next item is quantifications. Mitch, would you like to go?
Yeah, sure. So we're pretty much done this round. I think there's a couple slackers left to finish their quants, and then we'll have Livy's going to cover me for the review session tomorrow. And then the big thing for you guys to know, and I don't know if we made issues for it, but there was a few tough bugs for the new duplicate UI.
You want to run through them?
And I didn't actually get to quantify last round, so I couldn't say exactly, explain it the best. Maybe Livy?
Yeah, I wrote to Matt already.
Okay, cool.
Just those two you noted.
Yeah, and one thing to add is that, you know, when you're selecting duplicates, you need to select them in an order. So, or that's how it seemed to me, that you need to select first the one that is already quantified and then clicking on the other. But it would be good to have an indicator like a color, like maybe when you click on the one you're already quantified, it shows like a red one. And then when you click on the one that is a duplicate, you click on a blue 2. Does that make sense?
So the way that it works right now is, or at least the way I think it's supposed to work is, irrelevant of the order that you clicked the checkbox, the praise that is closest to the top of the list is considered the original. Because basically, for the score calculation, it shouldn't really matter which is the original and which are the duplicates, as long as one is an original and all the others are duplicates.
We had a discussion about the logic of that. That is, there is a certain logic to that. That the first time a contribution is praised, that would be the original contribution, sort of, and then all the preceding would be the duplicates. But I do see that if you have given the original, you know, you have given them praise scores already, and then find out later, like, yeah, there were also duplicates maybe further up or something like that, then I guess it's a slightly tricky UI thing to get right, I'd say. The other
and there's
the other option would be like, sorry, that the first one you check when marking duplicates would be deemed the original. So if you check three items, it doesn't matter in what order they are in the list, but the first one you check would be deemed the original.
Yeah, it would help a lot if the first one was a different color, you know, that would solve the problem.
original.
The original.
So sorry to be specific here. Where would this color be? Because once
the
the
checkbox.
marking has
in the checkbox, you know, when you select them, they all look blue. If the first one, like the original, was another color, then you would know that that one is the original. You would avoid confusion.
And what confusion would it avoid? Since they're all duplicates of the same contribution, it doesn't really matter which is the original.
I think the second problem related to that is that when you click on the duplicates, the value you assigned is going down to 0. And Matt said that this is just a UI thing, that actually the value is being quantified, but then when it goes down to 0, it feels confusing. Every time that happened to me, I went there and changed back to the value I had selected before.
Yeah, I agree. When the value goes down to 0, that feels confusing. But let's not get stuck on this too much during this meeting. But let's spend some time discussing this more before we settle on a solution.
Okay, cool. Sorry for the background noise. So then the other thing is that this round is going to end on Friday. Wow, that is a wretched sound. I'm sorry, you guys. Just gonna 1 second.
We can hear you well.
Oh, is it? Okay. So the second thing is that the round is going to end on Friday, and then we're going to be moving to bi-weekly. So I think from then on, like, we'll give ends on Friday, and then we give a full week for whoever to upload the data, and then we'll start the Friday following to do 2 weeks worth. So like if we end on the 13th, and then on the 20th, we'll start quantifying from the 30th of April until the 14th of May. And then that gives 5 days for the data to be uploaded from then. Does that timeline make sense?
Yes. I think so.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, say that again. If we end on the 13th, that would be now on Friday.
This round ends on the 13th and will be quantified up until the 30th of April. Right?
Yeah.
And then on the 20th of May, we'll open a new round which will quantify from the 30th onward to the 14th of May.
Yeah.
So those 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have 5 days when this round ends to upload the data for that 2 week period.
Yeah. Sounds good. To me at least.
Sorry.
And since the old praise bot, I don't believe it is fully retired yet. We will still have to do a small a small amount of importing. But my hopes are that we can get that fully retired during the coming week or so. But then we don't have to wait for me doing that thing before starting a new period.
Okay, so only the importing is because of people using the old praise bot or the old praise.
Yeah, but as you noticed, for the whole month of April, it was 76 praise or whatever. So not now, maybe we're almost down to 0. But here and there, people still use it.
Okay, cool. What's this? Quant starts April 1st. Okay. Anyway, that's it, I think. And then we'll keep going from there with the quantifications. Yeah. Any questions, or can we pass it along? Nice.
No,
Okay.
I just want to give praise to you, Mitch, and to all the quantifiers for doing this super intense 1 month a week quantification for 10 weeks now. It has been a huge effort, and now the workload will decrease to 1/4 of the amount, because we quantify 2 weeks every 2 weeks instead of 1 month every week. So it's a huge difference, and also the praise amount, the amount of praise has gone down. That maybe is not a good thing, but yeah, the workload for the quantifiers will be significantly lower. And maybe that takes us into the next item on the agenda, the reward board. And I do believe that we are ready to do the first payout now, right, Nagan? Are you still here? Yeah, there you are.
Yeah. I just did the pull request like half an hour ago, or an hour already. Please review it, Christopher, Mitch, and yeah, once it's accepted, that is the files we could do the actual distribution with. We had some last minute issues there, but I think they're all resolved. So we are ready to pay out.
And how will the process look for paying out? I guess Mitch uploads the file and initiates the vote. Is there a vote to release the funds from the Aragon DAO using Aragon
Yeah.
Agent? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we use the transactions app to just basically make like a multi-send. And so it's just like a spreadsheet. I copy paste the list. I post it into the transactions app. We generate. It might be one vote. It might be two votes, depending on how big the list is. And I think the output is pretty transparent, so everyone will be able to see the addresses receiving what exact amount on the vote itself, and then the reward board votes.
And then what happens? We communicate this payout somehow.
Yeah, like what I usually do, or what I was planning on doing, is just doing like a round one distribution post, and then you just show the address and the amount of TEC it's receiving.
We are missing still a lot of addresses, though. That is important to point out.
Yeah.
So we'll have to make a catch-up distribution in the future.
Yeah. Until we have a fancier system that allows people to claim their own rewards for a number of periods, maybe it's easiest to just treat every period separately forever, sort of. So if we have 35% of the addresses now currently, and then in 3 months' time we have an additional 35% of the addresses, then we will do an additional payout for period 1 in, I don't know, every quarter or whatever, for 2 quarters, and those who haven't activated their accounts in 6 months after the second payout, they don't get anything. I don't know. We'll have to. That would be quite easily managed, at least, instead of us trying to combine many periods into. When we pay out period number 2, we would also include those from period 1 that have added their addresses since the last payout. Doing that scenario makes it more complex. What do you think? Did I make sense at all?
I didn't get the last part.
No. So we have two options. Either we try at each period payout, we try to include addresses, payouts for previous periods for addresses that have been added since we did that period payout. Did that make sense?
I think it will probably be easier and more transparent to just have like you said, one or a quarterly payment for people who didn't get the rewards, and that's it. Not be like every round, just every 3 months we check who has updated their address. If they have, we just pay them everything we owe them, and that's it.
Yeah. So basically, for each period, we do 3 payouts or something. We do it, now and in 3 months and in 6 months. And those who haven't added their addresses in 6 months, then we don't do another payout.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's at least that would be a totally manageable solution without having to develop some advanced script or anything. We could just maintain separate payout files, or a small adjustment to the RAD distribution calculation, so that it filters away any pre-existing payouts. Yeah, but let's discuss that async and make a proposal in the reward board.
Sure.
So when do we do this first payout?
I was gonna set it up today.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Nice.
actually gonna do it yesterday, but then Nuggin wanted another look at it, so we'll wait. But I'll do it today.
Yeah, somebody has to approve it, the PR and merge it. So we are using the newest data, but yeah, you can do it yourself, Mitch, I guess.
Yeah. And the payout will be calculated from the RAD repo, not TEC rewards.
I actually did it already. So the PR that you're accepting has already all the files for the 9 rounds.
Oh, okay, so I just have to pull it. I don't have to run anything.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
You just take it.
Okay, that's exciting. So payout, and then forum post, tweet, and sorry, what did you say about communication?
Yeah, I'll put up the vote. It'll have 24 hours on it, and then simultaneously we'll put up the forum post.
Nice. And again, I guess we should include in that the forum post or a link to the and sort of attach the HTML report generated, the period report.
Yeah, that would be good, I think. Yes.
So the payout post also becomes the period and analysis post, like this.
I mean,
summary
Mitch,
post.
we can send you the stuff Zepti and Chue and I put together when we were writing the first forum post. So maybe you can take some of that over into your post to kind of consolidate it to one place.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Now we have a considerable lag that like we do period 1 now, which was last summer, but I guess once we get these bi-weekly quants going, it will be, we close down a period, we calculate the distribution, and we post the analysis and do the payout at the same time.
When should we do the second payout? I guess that's the other question. When?
Yeah, we can do a bulk payout. We can do a bunch of periods at the same time if we like, or we could do one payout a week or so. But I don't know if that serves any purpose.
Let's do let's just do it weekly. I don't know. Well,
I think that sounds easy.
Then we have, if some problem should occur, then we haven't paid out the full budget. Then we have the, in the worst case scenario, we could adjust stuff in a coming payout.
Mm-hmm.
But let's hope
Exactly.
that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so weekly payouts. Yeah, and that also the getting the payout will be and us communicating about it will be a real trigger or nudge for people that haven't activated their accounts yet when they see that tokens start being paid out. Yeah. So maybe that's a good reason also to not pay out everything at once. Okay. The RAD, can we move on through the RAD dashboard?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't speak for Ziwei. Is she here? No. Okay.
I don't believe so.
But yeah, on my end, I've been setting up everything for this distribution and updating with the new file formats and cleaning up the repos and all that stuff. And also we have made some upgrades to the praise outliers all the functions and files that we're exporting. So now we are kind of taking into account if the praise was dismissed, if it was a duplicate, like taking the original score and not the reduced one. So the praise outliers file for the quant reviews should be better now. It should be clearer and have more relevant praise and not have stuff show up just because somebody didn't quantify it and all that. So I hope it serves you well tomorrow. And yeah, that's mainly it. I can speak for Ziwei. Sorry.
Cool. Thank you. Praise comes in next to last here. What have we been up to? Nebs, would you like to start?
Yep, I can start. So last week we had the issue with quantifiers, finished items. So I did a small refactor, and now finished items are refreshing without need to reload the page. So that is finished now, and I was working on small formatter for Discord markup. I couldn't find the library that's working fine, so I created small formatter, and this is still in review, but soon it will be done. And also I created a FAQ page, and we still have discussion on that pull request. So we need to decide how to enter the data for answers and questions.
I think
and
we need
validation for the data.
to discuss that with the community in the form of Mitch and etc.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of the FAQ page? Whose FAQ page is it? Is it like the general how to praise quant blah 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 questions? Same for all communities, or is it specific information for just the TEC praise instance? Or
I think it'll be both. Because like they should just go to one place and get all the info, not just like forum posts and whatever. And so you can have like general information or like information on how to use the dashboard, which will be like universal. And then you can have another subsection which will be like specific to the DAO. And that can be part of their setup process, is like their FAQ. And how I've seen that done is they just have like a JSON file that they put in, and it's just like question, answer, and then you can have like the nested for different categories. And then that's easy for like a new DAO to use it because they can just like update the F8 that one file, and then it would just plug in automatically.
Yeah, we did something like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
cool.
Let's talk a bit more about that. But I do think that we have implemented it mostly like you have envisioned it. And Nebs, were you done for now?
Yeah, I'm finishing that, and that's it.
Okay, cool. Matt, please.
Hey guys, this week, the big, I fixed a bug that came up next week where users were able to activate their account twice and it caused some data integrity issue. We tracked that down and then fixed it so it shouldn't happen again. Adding the praise giver and praise receiver's user account ID to the exported CSV so that we can track a user account's activity over time in the RAD dashboard. And then the big ticket that I just opened the PR for is logging user events that affect the database state for transparency. So anyone could log in and see, for example, when a period is closed, when it's open, when quantifiers are assigned, when praise is given. Basically, any kind of changes should be will be trackable. And right now, it's just the bare bones. But the next phase will be adding kind of filtering of that data to make it a little more easier to parse through. And then I did a bunch of PR reviews and created a bunch of tickets for kind of mostly more kind of architectural stuff for the application. That's it.
Yeah, we have a few of those up for discussion, sort of, and have to decide upon what is most important to tackle next. But this transparency issue of events logging has been, that was a really early feature we identified as really important to see if someone sort of tries to game the system or misuse the system as an administrator or whatever that there should always be, we should have the ability to track down what happened, who did what and when, sort of. Yeah, have I been doing any code changes? I have been reviewing some PRs. I've fixed a small server, small thing. But mostly I have not been contributing any code the last week. And then we have V, who is mostly on not vacation. He has schoolwork, exams, etc. So he's and not contributing so much currently. But before he left, he was working on some smaller issues, such as showing messages when the system is empty, completely empty. There was something more substantial he did that there's a pull request for. Highlighting the navigation, which part of the app you're in, showing that more cleanly. And also, this one, the sanitizing the praise trees. And this one is we really want to implement this one. This was not good to show. But basically, well, you see these tags in the praise data with weird numbers, which are Discord IDs, and we want to instead show the Discord channels or the users usernames that they reference instead of the numerical Discord IDs. And then we have Vitor. The team is growing, and Vitor is working on the Telegram bot. I believe he has started looking at it a little bit at least. So we hope that would be so cool to be able to support another platform. And we also have Pedro, who will be looking at turning the quantifier pool screen into user admin screen. So that is mostly what is happening currently. And then, as Matt said, he has identified a few architecture issues and so some more bigger issues for the future of praise that we need to discuss and decide what to put on the roadmap. Sort of. Maybe that's it for praise, unless. Yeah, I think so. So let's go for the last item of onboarding and education. Libby, would you like to say something?
I think there's nothing more to be done there. I mean, just every week now talking to people in the orientation call and more maintenance, but the documentation is done, I think.
Does this mean that we should remove this fixed item from the weekly agenda and put it back there when there is something?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. It feels like more and more pieces of the rewards puzzle is coming into place. It's really nice to see. And yeah, I thought about one thing with regards to praise. I just throw it out there. It's the auto praise bot. Will we have the auto meeting tracker, the automatic praiser for meeting tracking, or the automatic tracking for Twitter activity? Would that be a weird thing to include in the praise? Technically speaking, we could just mark any automatic praise with some little marker in the system, and make those praise be automatically quantified from the get-go using a system setting instead of having to be quantified by the quantifiers. And Nebs and Matt, we haven't talked about this at all. Think about it. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea?
I like it.
Yeah, it seems like a lot easier solution than trying to make a bot that's going to do all of it. But then we still have to remember that the stuff needs to be praised so that it can be captured.
Yeah, but each bot would capture whichever way that bot was written to. So the meeting tracker bot would auto praise everyone for coming to meetings, and the end result in the praise system would look exactly like the current praise, or praise blah 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 for coming to this and this meeting. But that praise would be connected to that praise would be pre-quantified using a setting. So we wouldn't have to quantify it. Another thing that we have been talking about is the self-praise. And I think actually the auto-praise makes more sense than self-praise, because this is still actually praise. It's automatically generated praise, but it actually is praise you for coming to this meeting. While self-praise, like I praise myself for spending 30 minutes preparing for this meeting, is not praise at all. It's something completely different. It's mostly that it could lead to turn into something similar to a time tracking system, and we don't want to start building a time tracking system if everyone should be starting to really self-praising all their contributions they do during the day. So I'm leaning towards that the auto praise thing is reasonable, but
What's the difference from that to the meeting tracker bot?
No, the meeting tracker bot would be in that case would be instead of pushing data to source cred, it would push data into praise, basically. And since the meeting tracker bot is not finished, it's not a that is the part that is not finished. The actual tracking of meetings is done, but the pushing of data into source cred is not done. That part of the code base. So it would just be rerouting of traffic, push it into praise instead of pushing it into source cred.
Oh, that sounds great.
So with that, I don't have anything more to say for today.